I just finally, after much heart searching and reflection, reached the point yesterday, following what happened on Monday and the things Luciana Berger said, that I do not believe that Jeremy Corbyn is fit to lead the Labour Party, and therefore I don't believe he's fit to be Prime Minister. And I can no longer, in all good faith and conscience, tell people that they should be fighting for a Labour government under Jeremy Corbyn.
Is he an anti-Semite?
Nick, I don't know what's in his heart, but I don't think he could be at all surprised that people think he is. And we have said endlessly to him, actions speak louder than words. You are allowing this scourge of anti-Semitism, of anti-Jewish hatred to infect the Labour Party. And he's had so many opportunities to deal with it, and has not done so, and is not doing so now, and I have no confidence he will. And I think that kind of hatred of Israel that leads him to his hatred of, it seems, towards Jews, is part and parcel of hard left politics, which he represents.
And possibly part and parcel of hard left politics was his initial reaction, as was the reaction from John McDonnell, who suggests that those 7 of whom you speak should all seek to go to by-elections, whereas Tom Watson, I thought, and I'm not in the Labour movement, spoke very movingly and felt that you need to find a kind of politics. What of what Mr. Watson said, Joan Ryan?
I think Tom Watson's been a stalwart ally through all of this, and I respect Tom, and I would count him as a friend, and he's certainly a friend to the Jewish community, and he has a decent, balanced view of the situation in the Middle East, and I trust him. So I know he's decided to still, to stay and fight inside the Labour Party against this, and I respect that. And everybody has to make their own decision. It's a very personal thing.
To the group you now move into, Joan Ryan, we know what they're against. They're understandably against anti-Semitism. They're not particularly enamoured of Brexit. They're against the current leadership. They're against the move to make us like Venezuela. They're against old politics. What are you and your colleagues for?
Yeah, well, one of the things I've been saying is, we're that busy, consumed with trying to fight for decency and the traditional Labour values in the Labour Party, that we can't take the fight to the Tories on all the issues, particularly around public services, but also around Brexit, because Jeremy Corbyn, I feel, is aiding and abetting a hard Brexit, possibly a no-deal Brexit, which I think is incredibly damaging for my constituents and offers nothing for the future of our young people. But the independent group have put out a statement of their values, which I think give a very clear indication of the kind of things that we're going to be for and that we're going to be fighting for. And it's very much about doing whatever it takes to safeguard Britain's national security.
You're not for another referendum then, are you, Joan Ryan?
I would support the Peter Kyle, Phil Wilson amendment, which says we will vote for whatever deal now the Prime Minister comes back with, but on the basis that it is amended, that it goes to the people for ratification. It's not a never-endum. It's like the Anglo-Irish referendum. It's like the No to AV one. Once it happens, Nick, that's it. It doesn't come back to Parliament. If they vote for that deal, then that's what happens and we leave.
Are you not arguing a little bit against yourself here then, Joan, in that if you feel it should go back to the people, shouldn't you possibly go back to the people of Enfield North?
No, and let me
why not?
Yeah, let me explain why.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Because during the 2017 election, which was less than 2 years ago, I put out a letter to all of my constituents and said, you're telling me on the doorstep that you are not happy to see Jeremy Corbyn as Prime Minister, that you're worried about that. And I made a commitment to fight within the Labour Party to bring it back to those decent Labour values. And I told my constituents, I don't think this is an election where we're going to see a change of government. So I think you can vote for me without having to worry that he'll be Prime Minister. And I commit to bringing back those values. That's what I'm doing. I won my election then, not on his coattails, but in spite of him.
OK, lastly, I note you've been, MP since 1997, so that's more than 20 years. You've probably been in the Labour movement a lot longer than that, I would imagine. How difficult a decision has this been for you?
Well, I've been almost 4 decades in the Labour Party, and this is the first day since being a young woman that I've been out of it. It was a very, very hard decision. It's a very personal decision. It's the hardest decision I've ever had to make, certainly in my working and political life. But having gone through that, I feel a sense of relief now that I can do what I'm supposed to do as an MP. I can speak up, I can speak out, I can stand in solidarity with minorities who are being subjected to racism. I can express my values, and I can do that without being put in the position of being abused and bullied, because it's anything you say is then seen as undermining the leader, like we're in some kind of a cult.
And are you ready? Are you ready to welcome Conservatives in your midst? Are you happy to embrace one, embrace all in your new group?
Anyone who is like-minded and can support the values that the independent group have published, have put out, then yes, I think what we want to do is appeal to people of all political parties who are like-minded with us.